Hello you beautiful people and welcome to Joeboy Racing. Today we're going to be previewing day one of the Royal Ascot meeting. Fantastic day's racing. I'm actually going to be there myself tomorrow, so hopefully I'll be able to bring you a race day vlog, and if you do tune in to see the race day vlog you'll be able to see how much I've actually staked on all of my selections. Now normally I wouldn't typically preview every single race of the day because there'd be some races where I don't have a particularly strong fancy, but seeing as I'm going myself I will be having a bet on every single race of the day. So the first race of the day, it's a cracking day's racing. I think there's 3 Group 1s to get us started and I cannot wait. The first race of the day, the Queen Anne Stakes, which is at 2:30. Fantastic race. You got all of the front 4 in the lock-inge, vying it out to try and either frank the form or to reverse the form. I personally here have sided with Rosalien. I think just because of the Ascot form that the horse has previously, it's going to come on for that run. I know the trainers said that both Rosalien and Notable Speech were ready to go, but you could tell that they needed the run. I think the course form is going to help Rosalien out massively, and I don't think Lead Artist or Dancing Gemini are going to be able to do what they did in the lock-inge. So in terms of a secondary bet, depending on what happens in the market on the day, I will have a bet on the day at the track as well. I'm leaning towards either Carl Spackler, the unknown sort of American raider. Puts up good time figures. He's at a price, the biggest price you can get him at the minute is 18-1, which could be interesting. It could go off higher on the day as well. But I'm slightly leaning more towards a horse called Kudwa. I think that's how you say it, Kudwa. He's currently trading, you can get him at 25-1. Seems like he's actually shortening in the market as we speak. However, he's also got Ascot form. He looked impressive on his reappearance in France, and I think that, like I say, the course form's going to help him out massively. So at a price 25-1, you can get him in places. I'll probably end up backing him on track each way on the day. Like I say, Carl Spackler is also of interest depending on the pricing. The second race of the day, the Coventry Stakes at 3:05. I've backed a horse in here called Underwriter. Looked very good on his first run. Came first, put up good sectionals considering he was running into a headwind as well. When he was asked to kick, he just went clear. I was very impressed with him. Also, he's trained by Archie Watson, who's got great trainer form in this race. The last 2 years, I believe, he's come second, and then the year before that, he actually won the race with Brad Sell. So I'm hoping he's got Underwriter good for this day. I've backed another one at a price in the same race called Calcutta Night. Again, he's only raced once. Won the race in convincing fashion by 5 lengths or 5.5 lengths. Not as good on the sectionals as Underwriter, but when he was asked to kick again, he kicked away. He's drawn on the other side as well to Underwriter, so hopefully, depending on how they do, that will sort of give us an insight onto the draw bias for the day. Loads of interesting races, runners in there. Another one that I like the look of, potentially I might back each way on the day as well, is a horse called Power Blue. I'm just waiting for the odds to load up here. Called Power Blue, currently trading at 16-1. Came second on his last run out to Albert Einstein, who was short price favourite for this race before he was withdrawn. I think he also placed behind Lady Imam as well, who again was another short price favourite before one of the races before he was withdrawn. So I think he's got probably the best form in the race, and if he stays around that 16-1 mark or drifts, I will probably have a small each way play on him as well at the track. Gstaad and Postmodern are both top of the betting in this race. Now, Ryan Moore has chosen to ride Gstaad. Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore are always deadly, so I couldn't put you off backing him. But for me, the selection is Underwriter. The next race is the King Charles III Stakes. Another cracking race. Loads of good runners in here again. Asphora and Believin' sort of sharing the head of the market. I think they're going to both be going off close. Maybe because Ryan Moore's jocked up on Believin', he'll go off Fav. But the selection in this one for me is a horse called American Affair. Wasn't fantastic on his last run out. However, I think if the jockey Paul Munrennan could have had that run again, he would have done things slightly differently. He was on the right side, and then he tried to change over to the other side, and then he realised that wasn't the right side to be on, tried to come back again, and by then the race had got away from him. But the 2 times previous, he beat JM Jungle really gamely. I think the fact that Paul Munrennan has rid him on all those 3 occasions, he'll know the horse well, he'll know how to deliver him. And I think at the price you can get him at 18 to 1 currently with 1 firm, I think that's a cracking each way price. So I'm not going to obviously have a lump job on American Affair, but I think that he's a good pick each way. I also had a small anti-post bet on Jasur before his seasonal reappearance, hoping that he was going to absolutely bolt up after his wind operation and then shorten quite considerably in the market, which didn't happen, and he has drifted like a barge. So you can get him, maybe not like a barge, you can get him at 33 to 1. I was on him before his reappearance at 25 to 1, so I'll take that back just so. There's a couple of horses in here, Washington Height and a French horse called Monte, that are going to be red herrings for me if one of those wins, because I always back Washington Heights after he won at Newmarket last year, and he just simply hasn't been able to back it up. So now I've not backed him, he'll probably go and bolt up and win over the 5 furlongs. And Monte, we backed in France. Can't remember the name of the meeting, but it's the same meeting where Camille Pizarro won for Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore, and he come in at 80 to 1 for us, which was fantastic, although there was a Rule 4 deduction, which was frustrating. But yeah, so they're the 2 picks for me. Not dead keen on Jasur after his seasonal reappearance, but he looked like he was going to be a class horse last year. I'm hoping he can do the same. Depending on what the draw bias looks like in a previous race, I might have a small each way play on Rumstar, who is shortening in the market as we speak. Right, the next race, the big one, the St James's Palace Stakes. This is going to be fantastic. You've got the 3 Guineas winners here, English Guineas, Irish Guineas and French Guineas winners. Everyone thinks Field of Gold is going to romp this, but I don't think although it was impressive the way he bolted up in the French Guineas, when you look at the time, it wasn't too much different from the English Guineas, which Ruling Court got the better of him in. So I think out of those 2, I probably would favour Ruling Court. However, the selection is going to be a horse called Henry Matisse or Henri Matisse. Aidan O'Brien, Ryan Moore. Aidan O'Brien always has them exactly where they need to be. There's a couple of other runners in there as well, Officer and First Wave for Aidan O'Brien, and I think they're just going to choreograph the race exactly how it needs to be for Henri Matisse to kick on. He kicked on really well in France. The ground was slightly softer that day as well. Aidan O'Brien has said he prefers quicker ground, so fingers crossed that brings out that little bit of extra improvement out of him. And also, he had that form franked when Camille Pizarro went and won in France a week or a couple of weeks later. And I think he's in with a real shout. We've backed him at 4.5 to 1, 9 to 2. And he's currently trading at 7 to 2. So he's shortening. That's why I backed him anti-post, because I feel like he's going to go off 3 to 1, or maybe it will just be 3.5, 7 to 2. But yeah, so the selection for that one is Henri Matisse. Moving on to the Ascot Stakes, which is a Class 2 handicap. like I said, I wouldn't normally back every single race, so I'm not going to go in big on this one. I've backed a horse in this called Dawn Rising. It's a Joseph O'Brien horse. It's always targeted every year for Royal Ascot. It won the Queen Alexandra Stakes a couple of years ago over a slightly longer distance. He is a bit older, a bit of a veteran. However, Joseph O'Brien knows how to get one perfect for the day, as we saw with Tennessee Stud in the Derby. And I just think that at the price he is, I got on him at 28 to 1. He's still 28 to 1, 25 to 1 in places. I think each way, that's a good each way bet. I can see him definitely being in the mix. And yeah, that's a selection for that one. I've got no secondary bet in there. I'll just have a small each way play on the veteran and keep my fingers crossed. Then we move on to the Wolferton Stakes, which is a Class 1 listed race over 1 mile and 2 furlongs. Again, another cracking race. Interestingly, that long price Kudwa actually beat Hartem in France on his reappearance, and Hartem is second in the betting for this one. It's a bit different being in a Group 1 and a Class 1 listed race, but can't be a bad thing. The selection in this one is another Joseph O'Brien horse, a horse called Sons and Lovers. It's jocked up by Ryan Moore, who again, over this sort of distance, is just a master at delivering the horse when it needs to be delivered. Sons and Lovers finished just behind Jan Bruegel on his seasonal reappearance, and then which the form was franked against Calandigan, another horse that we was on, Jan Bruegel, at 4.5 to 1, which was good. And then he lost by 3 lengths to Los Angeles last time out, who's going off as a short price favourite later on in the week. So I think it's a solid selection. 8 to 1 is a good price for an each way play, and I think he's in with a good chance. I may have a small each way player on a Rafe Beckett horse called Doha as well, currently trading at 28 to 1. Rafe Beckett knows how to get them primed, jocked up by Hector Crouch, and yeah, I think he's got a chance to be in the frame. Lost to Sea the Fire by a massive distance, but so did everyone that was in that race with Sea the Fire, who has been supplemented for that same Los Angeles race. So the top class horse that it's lost to there. But yeah, I think in dropping back down in classes, he's got a chance to be in the frame at 28 to 1. So it'll be a small each way play on him. And the main selection is Sons and Lovers. In the last race of the day, 6:10, the Copper Horse Stakes Class 2 handicap over 1 mile and 6 furlongs. I have backed a horse called French Master. A little bit boring being top of the market again, but I think that classic cliche, he's a group horse in a handicap, applies with French Master. I was at Goodwood on the day when he won last time out, and he was hampered all the way, didn't get the best of rides. Holly Doyle kept knocking into him and he couldn't get down the rail until the cutaway, which doesn't suit him because he's more of a galloping horse. If he gets room to gallop down the middle of Ascot, I think he's going to run away with these. So I'm very strong on French Master. We backed him at 4 to 1 anti-post, and he is currently trading at 5 to 2 is the best price you can get on him on the market. I've not even really had a look for a small each way bet further down in the market because I'm that confident on French Master, and therefore he's going to be my nap of the day. I don't normally like napping horses in handicaps because it's so tricky to get them on the button, but I think where he was delivered late because he had so much problems and come from behind to only just win by a neck, he only got put up £4, I believe, from that day. So I think he's still really nicely handicapped. I think he will go on to be a group horse. And yeah, he's my nap of the day. He's jocked up by James Doyle this time, rather than Rob Havlin that was in the last at Goodwood, which is a positive jockey booking. So hopefully he gets that space to gallop. and just runs away with them. So yeah, so they're my main fancies for the day. Like I say, some of them I backed anti-post, some of them I'll be backing on the day on course. I'll try and get that race course vlog done for you so you can see how much money I've actually staked on each of my selections that I've put up today. So subscribe if you want to see that. I will be doing a day 2 race preview as well. And yeah, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, give it a subscribe, and I will see you soon.